Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. Thank you all for joining me once again. I want to respond to a TikTok video, in actuality, many TikTok videos, in reference to the shocking news of people not receiving their SNAP benefits or their welfare benefits by November the 1st. I've been hearing it all over social media, on the internet, YouTube, TikTok. It's just like crazy. And there are people threatening to just bum rush Walmart and grocery stores and just start taking stuff off the shelf. I know all of you guys already have heard of this. You probably have seen TikTok videos on it. You probably have seen it on YouTube. You probably made a YouTube video on it if you have a YouTube channel and you do YouTube content. Yeah, this is absolutely insane. But I want to react to a TikTok video that lasts about maybe a minute about who has to essentially work. And I believe a vast majority of what this young man is saying is true. Who has to work in order to be able to continue to receive these benefits. And I also want to react to the videos of people threatening to bum rush Walmart and other grocery stores if they don't get their food stamps by November 1st. I want to react to that as well. So let's get right into this.
Trump just cracked the food stamp method. Now everybody between the ages of 18 and 64 have to work if you have food stamps. It doesn't matter if you're homeless. It doesn't matter if you're a veteran. It doesn't matter if you're a single mom. This all comes from the executive order that he signed back in June. So boom, he signed this executive order, and now things are going to be taking place starting November 1st. Before, if you were 46 and above, you were exempt from working and you would be able to receive food stamps. With this new executive order, Trump added 20 years. Now you have to be 64 to be exempt from work requirements. That's crazy. Another thing is, if you were a veteran or you feel homeless or a single mom, you were exempt from working. That rule is no longer. Now everyone has to work at least 80 hours a month. You have to either work, volunteer, or have training every single month. Even if your children is under 18, you're not exempt from it. Before, if your children was under 18, you were exempt from working. But now that's no longer a rule. Honestly, I feel like if you're getting food stamps, then you probably should be working if you can. So this is going to push a lot of people that's actually able to work. Damn.
Okay, now, yeah, and that sounds like almost kind of like AI a little bit because it kept pausing and so forth. But yeah, I wanted to respond to that because I agree. Now, here's the reason why I agree with what Trump is doing. First of all, I know that may sound harsh to some people that may be watching this video, and you may be on welfare, you may be receiving food assistance, all the rest. And this is no attack against you. And here's the reason for that, because, and I have shared this story before, I have been on welfare and received food assistance at least 2 times in my life. Okay. When I lost my job back in 2011, I had to sign up for food assistance. And this was in the state of Ohio. And when I signed up for the food assistance, I received notification from the state, from the government here in the state of Ohio. I can't remember all the stipulations on it, but it told me that in order for me to continue to receive food stamps, I was getting like $200 a month. Single male, single, no disabilities, any of that. I just fell on hard times, and it was hard for me to find work. And so the stipulation said that in order for me to continue to receive these food stamps, I had to work at least the same amount. I think like 40 hours a month or something like that. Maybe 80 hours a month or something like that. I think it might have been 40 hours a month or 80 hours a month. I don't remember. Now let me respond to that stipulation. In my opinion, if a person who's been receiving food assistance or on welfare, to keep it 100, and if this person has been on welfare for an X number of years and they are able to work, okay, whether they have children or not, they can do 80 hours a month. They can do that. Now somebody would say, well, what if my child is at daycare, whatever? 80 hours a month. Now the average work week full time is what? 40 hours a week. You mean to tell me you can't do 80 hours a month? Guess what? In order for me to, I had to do that same amount of work. And I thought it was, at first I was insulted by it. I was like, man, I shouldn't have to work for this. This is my, I shouldn't have to work for this. But then I thought about it. I'm like, well, it's not a bad thing. I learned a lot of different things. I met some guys that were cool people. We didn't become friends, but we vibed, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the little work program that I was put through. I forget exactly the particular name of the housing project area. I think it wasn't Huff. I can't remember, but it was a housing project where I had to basically do like 4 hours a day or 4 hours every other day or something like that. I had to, or 4 hours a week. It was something like that. I had to, do cleaning, buffing. It was a lot of stuff. With me and a few other guys, we would go to different apartments that were not moved in yet, and people hadn't moved in yet. We would go fix those apartments up. We would clean them up and just fix them up, paint, whatever we needed to do. And looking back, and I thought, as I began to continue to do it, I kind of vibed with it. I was like, okay, this is cool. I get it. I still didn't like it too much at first because I was a working person. No offense, but I wasn't lazy. I wasn't used to depending on the government to give me stuff and to hold me up and all that. I wasn't used to any of that. I was a working person, and I've been working for years. And I had gotten to a point where I had essentially gotten to a point where I said, I don't want to depend on the government for anything if I can help it. And that situation happened, and I was like, well, now I have to depend on them to get food. So I didn't like that, okay? So when it happened to me, I felt like it was a direct assault to my manhood. In addition to that, the governor had suspended my driver's license because I wasn't able to pay child support because I wasn't working. So you suspend my driver's license, which was stupid, and I'm catching hell just from that. Ever since that happened, that really hurt me. But I'm not gonna go back with I'm not gonna cry over spoiled milk. What's done is done. My point is this: I was able to work. I did it. I didn't like it at first, and I went on and did what I had to do. Make a long story short, let's just fast forward. I believe and agree with the idea that people who are able to work, who are on food assistance, who are on welfare, whether they're male or female, got children or not, you can do 4 hours a week or 8 hours a week or whatever and get your 80 hours in. Heck, you can do, if you were to do, here's the thing, this is what people are saying. If you were to do just 40 hours a week, 40 hours a week, right? For 2 straight weeks, that's your 80 hours. You don't have to worry about nothing for the next 2 weeks of that month. Get it out of the way. That way you don't have to worry about it. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. What I believe this is doing is this is forcing people who are used to depending on the government to take care of them to get out there and work because you know you can do it. When you get to a point where, if you're constantly dependent on the government for everything, you're going to get used to it. You're not going to want to work. It's going to make you lazy. Okay, it's going to make you lazy. The reason why I know it's going to make you lazy, because guess what? I've been there. You may be saying, wait a minute, Mr. Bowling, you said that happened to, oh yeah, it happened when I was in my early 20s. I came from a family that was in that unfortunately suffered that kind of setback, if you will. Financial situations happened, and certain individuals in my family ended up getting on welfare, and they were on it for long periods of time. And I began to adopt that mindset at an early age. Well, if I can get it from the government, I don't have to worry about anything. And back in the 80s, they had what was called the GR bill. It was general relief bill. You would get a certain amount of money each month. I think it was like $120, and then food stamps. And I was perfectly able to work. Wasn't nothing wrong with me. Perfectly capable of working. Perfectly able to work, and would work sometimes. And was working too. I was working like spot jobs. I wasn't doing a job where I was getting taxed, but I would, like work for these painters and people who own painting companies. So I would work for them and so forth. I was painting buildings and painting apartments and so forth, and for subcontractors. I was working, but it was sporadic. It was not always every day, 5 days out of the week, every single day. It was sporadic, but I was working. I was doing this sporadic jobs. I was doing it, okay, and getting $120 a month and food stamp assistance. Now, is that right? Here's the killing part too. I was still living with my mom. I didn't have to pay any rent. I didn't have to do it. So think about that. Was that right? Was that right for me, a perfectly capable young man, a young man who had the ability to work? Was that right for me to take taxpayer money, $120 of cash in my hands, because back then it was cash, and food stamps? Back then they were paper. Okay, it wasn't no card, I don't believe it was. Wasn't any card, it was paper food stamps. Yeah, I'm telling you my age. Was that right? I don't think so. Not at all. It caused me to get lazy, because over the course of time, I just kept receiving those benefits until things started changing. Government said, wait a minute, no. We got to stop this. And then the GR check stopped. It was like, what are we giving this person free money for? What are we doing this for? They're capable of working. What are we doing this? But the point is simply this. I believe you get my point. The point is, if a person is capable of working and able to work but refuses to work, they should be forced to do 80 hours a month. You can do it. They can do it. Child or no child, you can do that. If it's 4 hours a week or 4 hours every other day, if your child is in daycare, that ain't going to kill you. What time will your child be in daycare? Oh, my child has been in daycare at this time. Okay, work around it. Hey, tell the people that you're going to set this work program up with, this is what time I take my child to daycare. Can I do it this day, that day, and this day? I'm pretty sure they'll work with you. There's no excuse this time, okay? No excuse whatsoever. People are mad at Trump because he's making them do this type of stuff. Now, another thing, too, is that what I believe what Trump is doing is making this federal, because at the time in 2011, I don't think this was federal. It was state, because it's not new to me, because I've done it before. This is not new. It's a shock to everybody else. Oh my God. But it isn't a shock to me because I had to do it here in the state of Ohio. And by the way, DeWine is a Republican, because most of the time Democrats ain't going to do that. Democrats ain't going to make you work for your money. They ain't going to do that. Democrats want you to sit on the plantation and get it for free. Long as you stay on the plantation that they created for you and depend on them for every single thing, they fine. Just keep voting for them. That's all that matters. But anyway, that's another story, and I digress. You get the point. Another thing, too, I want to say real quick here in reference to people who want to bombard the stores and stuff because they don't get their food stamps by November the 1st. Here's a simple warning to you. A simple word and warning. Don't do it. That's it. Don't do it. You want to know why? Because you're going to end up going to jail. Do you think that's going to make things better? I've seen TikTok video after TikTok video after video after video of women crying and farting and pooting and threatening. You wait. F you, Trump. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to grab, because my kids need food. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to do it. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and do that. It's not going to hurt Trump. It's not going to hurt the government. It's going to hurt you. Because that's going to come back on you. You're going to end up going to jail, and your child won't have a mother. Or your child will have a mother with a stained reputation, And what are you going to tell them? Well, I was just trying to fend for you. Bull crap. Bull crap. You wasn't trying to fend for. You was doing that simply because you think you can. That's why. But I hope it don't happen. I hope that doesn't happen November 1st. I hope it doesn't happen. But my word to people who want to act like that, who want to talk like that, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't mess up your reputation. Don't end up with click handcuffs on your wrists and thrown in jail because you want to be ignorant. There's no excuse for that whatsoever. No excuse whatsoever. Decades ago, before the Civil Rights Movement, you know I'm going to get on that, okay? Before that was enacted, the Civil Rights Act was enacted, there were tons of people who were living impoverished lives, black, white, you name it. But there wasn't half the amount of stealing and killing and everything else you want to. And what happened? You want to know what happened? Because the morals of the people changed. Back in those days, even though people were suffering from all kinds of real hunger, I mean, they were really, truly hungry, okay? They had moral values that people don't have today. They believed in the word, the Bible, the scripture that says, thou shalt not steal. Regardless of your circumstances, you don't steal. You don't have to do wrong simply because you feel like doing wrong. You don't. You don't have to lower your moral standards because you pressure to lower your moral standards. People of true integrity stand on their moral standards even if they have to be unalived for it. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to watch what I say here because of the YouTube algorithms, okay? But you get what I'm saying. And those people had morals and values back then, but when the morals and values were stripped out of the schools and stripped out of TV shows and stripped out of everything else, now the schools are telling people, well, no, it's survival of the fittest and might makes right, the Darwinism concept. We all evolved from monkeys, so there's no right and wrong, right? And since there's no right and wrong, and we're nothing more than a higher order of animals, do what you need to do in order to survive. You're an animal, right? You're just an animal. You're just a higher order of it. So if you need to steal, steal. That's what that's been taught to every single one of the students in the schools after the 1960s. And so this is the mindset that a lot of these people that get on these videos are speaking and hooping and hollering about. This is the mindset they have, not realizing that they have been brainwashed and conditioned to think the way they think. Have some morals about yourself. Have some standards about yourself. Don't go down under like that. You don't have to do it. I'm just saying. But yeah, that's what I think about that. I agree with it. I don't see anything wrong with it necessarily. I had to deal with it myself. I didn't like it, but then after the course of time, I understood it and I came to appreciate it. Okay, I don't think this is wrong at all. All Trump is doing is making it federal because it's been here in the state of Ohio for years. Boom. So, hey, it is what it is. What do you guys think about this? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.